good? I think y'all on 1 and 3. Find out. Start this. Volume's down. What's it called? On the Twitter thingy. It's really February 5th.
January took forever.
Man.
I was like, it's still January.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to another edition of The Focus TV. So much to talk about today. I know, Octavia, you can't wait. Go ahead, get this in. I'm not even upset. We ready? We ready for that? You know, that we most definitely are. But yeah, man. What y'all think of, I guess, the game real quick? Nah, real quick.
Because like I haven't been able to be petty. Like I'm petty, but I'm nice at the same time. So I've been trying to let all 49ers fans get their feelings out first before I start.
I mean, we're gonna
with
get into
jokes
it later.
and
Like,
everything.
Look,
But
I'm gonna say this for you. Look, I'm already there, so it's fine. I'm not tripping. It's
cool. But I mean, I will say that I was still surprised. Like it's surprising on both sides, just because we've seen Patrick Mahomes come back from being down, but in that fashion, that fast, and for him to be like, oh, all right, we got to go now and like get it done in 8 minutes was kind of mind-blowing. And then on the other side, everything that the 49ers have been dependent upon this year is just like, what happened? It kind of like fell apart at the end. Like they played a great first 3.5 quarters.
We're going to get in that
and then it was just like, well, I'm done now.
They fumbled the opportunity. The bag, as one would say.
Yeah, fumbled the bag.
College basketball. We got Cardell calling in right now, so we're going to go ahead and check in with him. Cardell, you're in another gym. Good Counsel and DeMatha tonight, so how's that going?
DeMatha showing why they're the number one team in the area. And one of the top teams in the country. They are 14-15. The third quarter just started. They just pretty much started pounding them inside with Hunter Dickinson. You know, he scored a quick 8 points. Then he went to the bench in foul trouble. And then Jordan Hawkins pretty much took over from there, hitting mid-range shots, getting to the line, getting the free throw line. Same with Earl Timberlake. And they just overwhelmed them. But really, it's the Masters defense. They're playing in 2-3 zones. Then they switch in the man. And they just had good counsel all just out of sorts. They don't know when to take a jumper, when to drive. Countless turnovers. I know they had double-digit turnovers in the first half. It's just been a dominating performance for the Masters all around.
All right. As for good counsel, how do they get back in this one?
One, just take smarter shots and be more poised, man. Don't let the Masters speed them up by changing defenses. That's what they want to do, and that's why they're turning it over. Start with the one-on-one basketball. That's not going to beat them. You know what I'm saying? There's no James Harden on the court. So right now, you know, play team ball, play smart, and just execute. And then you'll get your opportunities. And then when you get those opportunities, you got to seize them. If you don't seize them, it's going to be a long night. It's going to get even worse.
And as for DeMatha, any worry about them not keeping their foot on the gas in this one?
No, not with Mike Jones as coach. I know he's going not with him as coach. I know he's going to stay on him. And you know how they go. They're going to kill you. That's their whole thing. They're going to take you out and get ready for the next one.
All right. I guess just tell us one or two things that you've been impressed by from that first half of play.
Overall, their defense, man. It's not just. It's easy to say because Hunter's in the middle that, you know, it's hard to drive, but no, their guards are digging down hard, getting strips, tying the ball up. They also recovering, getting back on the perimeter at the times that good counsel do get inside and manage to hold on to the ball and pass it back out. They're recovering well. They're pressing the ball well. And I like Jordan Harvest, man, what he's doing. He hasn't missed a shot yet. I mean, no matter of fact, he missed one at the end of the half, a corner three, but for the most part, he was 6 or 7 from the field. He had taken mid-range shots, one dribble pull-ups, going to the line, knocking those down, driving, taking contact, getting back on defense. He locked up. Good Council's best player, but his name. It's just been an all-around great performance, man. So those are the 2 things I can point to right now.
All right. Well, I hope you enjoyed the second half. We want to thank you for calling in. And as always, everybody tuning in, go ahead and follow Finest Magazine on Twitter. And then get over to finestmag.com. Enjoy the rest of the game, sir.
All right.
All right, folks. So Cardell Dudley, as always, in the gym somewhere. We always joke about that, but yeah, with some of these seconds, we get to see that now. Shout out to technology working out and all that good stuff. All right, so outside of Octavia breaking down the Super Bowl, we talk about what happened and what didn't happen, the good and the bad, and I'm looking forward to it. As I said before, I'm already in a good place. We can go ahead and get this all out. You got jokes, memes, what have you. I'm at peace already. We already focused on
next year.
I'm focused on the offseason already.
Well, yeah, same difference. To me, the offseason starts next year, so yeah.
Well, I'm already there. But before we get to that, we also got 9-4-50 a little bit later. Ray, we're going to talk about this whole NBA trade deadline. So these targets, we're going to talk about it, as you put it, Iggy 2020.
Oh, God.
Iggy Gate 2020.
Not Iggy Gate, though.
Hey,
that's a good one. I like it.
That's what Raymond said it out there.
It's going down.
I'm sorry. I said it wrong. Iggy Watch 2020.
Iggy Watch.
Right, it was Iggy Watch.
All right.
I wrote it down to make sure you weren't misquoted, sir.
I like both those. Cool.
Iggy Watch 2020. We're going to see if Kuzma's the last survivor of the kids of the Lakers. If he makes it, if he doesn't. So that should be fun. Also, some other things. Rapid fire should be interesting. We got 9-4-50 as always. We're going to take a quick break when we get back. Going into this whole Super Bowl thing, there was a game played. A team did win, a team did lose, and then the aftermath and all the stuff that goes with it. If you're Niner fans, look, man, I'm here to just lift your spirits, but it's really, you'll be fine. 2012 was way worse.
Talk it out, man. Tweet through it.
Hey, look. Actually,
tweet your pain.
No, don't tweet through it.
No.
Twitter's not the place
do
for you
it.
right
Please
now.
do it so I can see it.
Hey, Twitter's not the place for you right now.
Yeah.
It's social media's not safe. Unless you're in a good place already, nah, dude, just let that be. But you're watching the Focus TV. We'll be right back. Welcome back to the Focus TV. Oh man! All right, so Octavia, the Super Bowl did happen.
It did.
I'll fall back and let you cook. Go ahead. What you got?
Well, I'm gonna just start with the stats, of course.
Okay.
So if you weren't living under a rock this past weekend, it was a Super Bowl in Miami, the 49ers versus the Chiefs. And it was a very good game. I will say that. It was a great game. I love Super Bowls where it's competitive. I hate when it's with blowouts and everything.
Last year already?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. It didn't take long.
Of course, never does. So, but 49ers versus the Chiefs. The Chiefs are actually victorious. Chiefs won 31-20. Garoppolo was 20 of 31, 219 yards, 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions. Raheem Mostert had 12 carries, 58 yards for 1 touchdown, 1 reception for 2 yards. And Kendrick Bourne had 2 receptions for 42 yards. On the other side, Patrick Mahomes was 26 of 42, 286 yards, 2 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, 9 carries for 29 yards, and 1 rushing touchdown. Damian Williams had 17 carries, 104 yards, 1 touchdown, 4 receptions for 29 yards, and also a receiving touchdown. Tyreek Hill had 9 receptions for 105 yards, and Travis Kelce had 6 receptions, 43 yards, 1 touchdown, and 1 carry for 2 yards. Like I said a little bit before we went to break, it was just kind of mind-blowing to see it all, like, kind of, for lack of a better term, fall apart in the end. Because that's one thing I said, like, I feel like the Chiefs did what they were supposed to do, but I feel like the 49ers kind of let them, and I wasn't expecting that. It was just kind of like the defense and the decision-making just kind of all fell apart at the end in the most crucial time. When, if you've been watching the postseason this past year, you know that, the Chiefs are good from coming behind. They don't have a problem with coming from behind, although I will say that was probably one of the things that we thought wouldn't be a good idea for them in this game, to fall behind and try to get back into it the way they were. But Patrick Mahomes was able to do everything he needed to do in a short period of time, in 8 minutes, to bring them the championship. And it was just kind of crazy to see. Like I said from the beginning, all pettiness aside, both teams are great, and I personally did want to see Andy Reid win a Super Bowl, and I'm very, very happy for him, because even though I feel like his legacy was already solidified as a coach, this just was like the icing on the cake. It's just like now, like if there were anybody that was going to say anything, which I feel like there shouldn't have been anyway, but if you were one of those people, there's nothing you can say now. He's done everything that a coach could do. And I'm sure he's not content with this being the only one. So I'm sure he's gearing up to try to do it again next year. But as we talked about it slightly off air, for the people that are just automatically jumping off the bridge and just saying, well, the Chiefs are the new dynasty. It is what it is. The 49ers, nobody knows them anymore. Like, let's be completely real. Like, that's ridiculous. They had a bad 8 minutes, if you think about it. As much as we want to say how great the Chiefs' 8-minute span was, it's just that they had a bad 8 minutes. And that's very, that was uncharacteristic of them for the entire year. A lot of the games that they've won were in close games. They were able to pull it together and win, whether it was by 1 point, 2 points, 3 points, they were able to pull it out. It was just that this time they weren't able to. But that's not saying that they can't do this again. Being a team that came from 4-12 the previous season to making it to the Super Bowl, everybody doesn't do that. And the only thing that I worry about on both sides, as far as both teams being able to get back to the same place next year, is a lot of times when you play really, really well, you lose a lot of coaches. And I feel like that's going to be a big thing to see who stays and who goes on both sides. Oh, see, my point.
We lost secondary coach Joe Woods, who played a big role this year, and the secondary getting a little bit better. My bad, we already lost one. One of the things with him was technique with the secondary. A lot of people were lazy with the analysis, like, oh, they just play Seattle cover 3. Nah, they don't. They play all types of different combo coverages, and one of the things with that, if you ask any of the corners and safeties, whatever this year, was that technique was a really big thing. That's where they're able to do so many different things and limit people different ways. So they already lost him. A lot of people are already interested in Mike McDaniels and
Robert Saleh. I know they want him too.
I'm not worried about him. He's a minority. No one's gonna hire him.
Oh gosh,
So-
man.
Same thing. The enemy's going to be in Kansas City forever.
I'm so sorry. This is not me. This is not me saying he's not deserving of it. Right?
This is true.
But okay, so perfect example. Cleveland hired Joe Woods, who was on Saleh's staff as their defensive coordinator, after interviewing Saleh a couple weeks prior for the head coaching job. Again, no knock on Joe Woods, just simply saying. So yeah, I'm not worried about it.
Yeah, but that's always the one thing I worry about, because I feel like that's the most vulnerable part of the team. It's not keeping the players, because, you're going to lose players, but the coaching is what's really going to be the biggest loss when it comes to doing so well, because now those teams that weren't doing well, they're trying to get all the, coaches from the other teams to try to get that culture to where their team is. And I just always feel like that's the biggest scare for both teams after you go to the Super Bowl, to just see who stays. But like I said, it was a great game. Hats off to Mahomes. The year of the black quarterback. Being the third. What blew my mind is I think I knew, but actually seeing it in print for them to say that he's the third black quarterback to win a Super Bowl.
Right. Yeah, that was.
There's been 54 Super Bowls, guys.
I really had to sit back and think about it.
I know, me too. I was like, wow.
Okay, but at the same time, there's been 54 Super Bowls, and of all the black quarterbacks that have been in the league in that span, how many of them have been supported or ended up in the type of
That's
situation
a good point.
that Mahomes or Lamar's in currently? I love Deshaun. I don't like that situation.
I feel you.
Yeah.
Where they're really
he kind of makes his situation as best as he can, and his play and his athleticism allows him to be that great. But I don't, like you said, I don't think he has a great supporting staff around him. And I'm not even just talking about players. I'm talking about the scheme and everything. But yeah, I definitely agree with that.
So it was like, but yeah, it was really weird to hear it.
Yeah, it was like I knew it, but it was like actually seeing it in print. I was like,
right, yeah, just kind of
how, like for
hit
real?
you in the face, yeah, like.
As many good and great black quarterbacks that there's been, like it's crazy to think that only 3 have won a Super Bowl.
And another thing, now let's go back to Andy Reid. It's kind of sad that he's one of the few that's had that, like 3, 4, 5 of these very, very talented black quarterbacks, right?
Yes.
So I mean, like that's one of the reasons. Like I said, I was at peace. Like Andy deserves that.
Yeah.
Because people have been talking out the side of their neck about a very good coach for quite a while.
Yeah, because I really ain't wanting to leave us, but
I mean, at least you got one.
We came out on the other side of it. Yes, we did, but we got somebody from his tree.
You never want to lose one of those.
Yeah, man.
And like you said, that 8-minute stretch, for me, it was just like little things. And this is something I talked about with my cousin, my uncle all year, like with the Niners. And I said it to you, like I felt like there was a year ahead of schedule, right?
That's true.
I've said that consistently, and one of the reasons you talk about the 8-minute stretch. When you've gotten to the place where you're comfortable winning, you know how to win. You know how to finish. You finish in those situations.
That's true.
And that's one of those things where even those games that the Niners won late in the year, they won by 1 or 2 or something like that. If you go back in all those games, there were moments and this is why this year was kind of funky and why, again, I was able to get over it. They could have been undefeated this year if they knew how to finish people.
You're right.
Mm-hmm. Gonna be completely honest.
That's a great point.
It's not to take anything away from any of those teams. But every one of those losses, you can point to a moment where they had I think maybe outside of Baltimore, a 10-point lead at one point.
Mm-hmm.
Every one of those games, but usually that deciding possession where it was time to go put the dagger in, they fumbled it back, and that was the trend all year. They made up for it at times to still win, but they fumbled the bag.
Yeah, they made it harder on themselves
all year, and that's kind of one of those things with an 8-minute stretch. It was like for the Chiefs to come back, like everything had to happen almost perfectly. And unfortunately for them, like for San Francisco, almost everything did. Mm-hmm. It's 3rd and 15, right? Emmanuel Mosley, love him to death. As much as people want to get mad at Keller Weatherspoon, Emmanuel Mosley blew a coverage. Mm-hmm. Got to keep it a buck. There was no reason to go with Sammy Watkins on the crosser. Fred Warner had that taken care of. If you stay deep, Tyreek is not a viable option right there. Credit to Jimmy Ward for even having the range to get over there because that could have been a touchdown. If you weren't on your horse and physically able to get there, that was blown coverage. And the Chiefs make a living off that, right?
Yeah. We talked about that last week. Yep.
But that was legit blown coverage. If you stay deep in your deep third, maybe they call the holding on Bosa there. Maybe they don't. But the bottom line is you can't throw the ball yet. Mm-hmm. That's an extra second against a pass rush. That was getting close to home quite a bit. Again, it's 3rd and 15. Most of the times this year, the Niners have done a great job of avoiding explosives. They gave up some explosives this game. And I'm not tripping off that they gave up explosives. If you notice, it's when they gave up explosives.
Mm-hmm.
Right, just bad.
A lot of the times, they came on 3rd down. That hasn't happened this year. They give up an explosive on like 2nd, buckle down, you get 3, life's good.
Yep, get off the field.
But they couldn't get off it was the little things where they did those little things well this year, which is why they limited so many explosives. Even offensively, yes, they probably could have run the ball a little bit more. And I would also say there was a couple plays where some of it was just Jimmy didn't make the plays that needed to be made. He was really good for 3 quarters, right?
Yep.
And for 3 quarters, he outplayed the other side. But when it came down to it, Pat made his throws. Jimmy didn't. Sometimes it's that simple, right? So you had the deep throw to Emmanuel where he missed a little bit. He hit stat. We're having a different conversation. At 7, you got to go get instead of 3. There was one where he missed George in the middle, where I think he thought Sorensen was coming down, and he was going to cover him, but Sorensen's trash, so you shouldn't have. You should have just hit George anyway. There was and then 2 of the passes that Chris Jones batted. Those saved the Chiefs because both of those plays, they got in coverage. The first one that he batted, they had Terrell Suggs on George Kittle. Okay, nobody tell me that's what you wanted to have happen defensively. That was your plan, or that's a good plan defensively. Coming across the middle of the field, it was one-on-one coverage. Chris Jones doesn't get his hand on that. That's George in a whole bunch of room. It's those little things. But earlier this year, like we were talking about, they made those plays. They just made those plays. You had Joe Staley, who rarely gets false starts and things like that. During that 8-minute stretch, 1st and 5, false start, and 2nd and 10 now. Those little things are huge. So everyone's like, oh, run the ball, but those little things here and there, they kind of push you out of stuff. You had Emmanuel Sanders had a false start on a 2nd down. I think it was 2nd and like 8 or it was 2nd and 10, I think, and it moved it to 3rd and 15.
Yeah.
Those little things matter. So if you're not a fan, like, y'all gotta relax. 2012 was way worse. Like 2012 was way worse. We'll keep it about. The khaki man called a timeout. He should have just minded his business. 2012 was way worse. And if you remember,
keep his khakis wrinkle free.
And if you remember, there was no foundation. They ruined that. That regime ruined that thing right there. The situation you're in right now, there is an actual foundation with 2 competent men that actually look like they have an actual plan, like normal functioning adults. Relax. Relax. The other thing, and I know people don't want to hear it, but like the Chiefs had their full complement of weapons offensively. San Francisco did not. They were missing a whole Marquise Goodwin. Somebody might not care about that. But when you got people like Cheetah and Miko and Samuel on the other side, and you got a whole speedster, you probably would have liked to have your speedster too. And some of the guys that Jimmy had when he got there, they weren't healthy this year at all. Being Trent Taylor, Dante Pettis up inside. He was inconsistent when he was healthy, and then he got hurt. And then you had Keith that was going. But it was just the little things. And I want to credit the Chiefs for, during that 8-minute stretch, they did the little things. Sometimes it's just that simple. And I think one of the biggest things that helped the Chiefs is last year, when they lost to Tom and them, they learned how to. That was a moment they realized we have to finish.
Yeah.
We have to finish.
Yeah, especially because they didn't get the ball back.
And I think that's the thing is they had that experience. Fortunately for them, it didn't come at the cost of in the Super Bowl.
True.
But they had to learn how to finish. And this is the thing I hope Kyle takes from Andy, where it took Andy a minute. Like, I love how aggressive Andy was in his game on 4th and 1s. Like, because this is the thing with those 2 type of play callers, you can't afford to take 3. Either way, you couldn't afford to take 3. Andy was like, we need these 7, right?
Yep.
I can't get 3 because what if they go on one of them runs? Then, like, I don't want to get behind. Put the pressure. Kyle kind of tried to play the safe, and that was one of the things where experience really shown in the coaching. I think Kyle outthought himself out of this. Like truly outthought himself.
Yeah, outplayed himself, yeah.
Yeah, and Andy was just kind of like, what I got to lose? And that's the thing.
Yeah.
It's something so small. But Andy been there before, the way that they lost it, right? Unfortunately for Kyle, this is the first time he experienced a coach, but second time play caller or whatever. Sometimes you need that.
Yeah.
Sometimes you honestly need it because a lot of the times this year.
But I mean, he's kind of building a track record too.
I mean, he is, but like this is the thing, and I know everyone's quick to like just bury him with it.
Yeah, because they are,
and they are, but I would love to ask all those same people: Would you rather keep your coach or have him?
That's a valid point too.
I'm gonna be completely honest.
He got him there.
No.
So it's.
He's
doing something right.
Keep my coach back.
No. But that's what I'm saying. Like,
I'm joking.
No, you're good. This
no, I'm
30
serious, but
I would keep your coach too. But
for those other teams,
like there's 30-something teams, right? There's like 5 teams would be like, I'm in a good place, right?
Yeah.
That could be like, nah. There's 20-some teams where you like, why are you speaking?
That's a good point. Because I'm really thinking like it is literally probably like a handful of teams that's probably like good with their coach.
Like you got Bill, you got Doug, right? I guess you got Sean, right? Up in the air with Sean in L.A.
Yeah, okay.
Right, where you feel.
I would say Andy.
Andy definitely.
Absolutely, yeah. Seattle.
Okay, Pete.
Yeah. Pete. So,
and this is the other
and you
thing.
Can't even go. I don't know if you want to say based off this
Pete's
record.
Been through this.
Tomlin, what he did to even put them together.
Yeah.
So we're
Even
not,
though they weren't
and we're
great,
still
you
not
know.
nearing 10.
Right.
We made
Oh
it
no,
just
that was
like-
like that's literally 5, and I can't think of anybody else.
That's what I'm saying. So it's like I understand the need to bury him. Yes, blame needs to be had, but that was a failure that was a collapse from the top down. Like every level, they collapsed. Like you just got to be completely honest here. They collapsed. Little things. Tavarius Moore, Travis Kelce. Boy, you run a 4-2. Turn your head around. That boy ain't running away from you.
Yeah.
I love Travis Kelce to death. He ain't running away from you. Like
Yeah, he didn't know what number
no,
he
he
was guarding. He
I
thought
think
that
he
was
just
Tyreek
panicked,
with
but
somebody.
that's those little things where you had like the little kid things. They show, and if you notice, like Kansas City secondary, like they're young, but Breland, Fuller, they've been experienced in the league a little bit. They went through
Honey Badger.
They went through you know what here in Washington, so
They are happy where they are now.
if you could come up through that stuff and see the other side, you're good, right? Mentally, in a good place. Like you're not gonna make those mistakes or whatever. And they did a great job of limiting those opportunities. Honey Badger made like 2 touchdown saving tackles on Debo plays in the first half. It was just the little things. So Emmanuel Mosley, like everyone was mad at Witherspoon. He had an issue later in the year when not finding the ball. Those are little things. You got to grow through those things. Those are some of the same things. They dog Rashad Breeland out here like you never heard before.
Yeah.
You're going a bad corner. It's a bad situation.
Hey man, Washington sports produces a lot of champions.
For other
Outside
places,
of
they
Washington.
do. And you know what they do? They do a
All
good
the
job.
time.
They do a great job of forging them through this fire. That they go to the other side and they ready for whatever.
And they're like, this is how stuff is really supposed to work.
It was like, so y'all don't get
man.
mad after like I can make a mistake and it's okay. Life goes on. So I mean that's my biggest thing. It was congratulations to the Chiefs. It was big. But yeah, like the polar opposite for me is just really interesting. Like, oh, the dynasty's ready to go. And obviously nothing's given that, you know, you're gonna be able to go right back to the
yeah.
Super Bowl. It's extremely hard. It's gonna be
Bull
hard.
hangover.
Honestly, I think it's gonna be hard for
It's
both
real.
teams to get out their conferences. I know from a Niner perspective, it's gonna be hard to get out that division. That division is gonna be super tough for like the next 5, 6, 10 years or whatever. With
Forever.
Tyler and all them. Like that division is always tough. Like the rest of the NFC, I don't trip about because of the division. Like
Right.
you just gotta survive the division. Like it's,
Yeah, just come to the NFC East.
hey, you know, hey, look, I wish you could trip.
You can just
fall.
go ahead and skip on through that thing.
You know how like what's it called, the Dick Van Dyke Show? He would start and trip over the couch. And all that. That's the NFC East. You could do all those things,
Man, that's
and at the end of the year, you at the
we
top.
we
of
gonna
the-
turn it around, guys. It's okay. We were back to back NFC East
Hey, it'd be
champions.
week 13. Like, oh no, we good, man. Don't even worry. About it. It's not a problem.
be like
We got
4
this.
and 9 and still
Look,
you know,
you're
in-
2 games
in
back.
the run,
no,
the
hold
first
on.
place,
You're 2
right.
games back. A whole 2 games back.
Yeah, man, it was tough, but
But
we
it
did
was a
it.
good
So,
Super Bowl. It was a good Super Bowl. And what I'm happy about is like it's new blood on the horizon. Period. In the league. Period. And I'm excited to see where it goes. And then the other thing is like, as good as Mahomes played, I give so much credit to Damian Williams and the job he did, the running back, to keep everything honest. I also seen a whole lot like that was the best game Patrick Mahomes played. I'm so sorry, guys. I cannot.
I don't think so.
I
that
cannot get
might have been
behind.
the worst game he played.
I can't.
Might have been
Yeah.
a good 8 minutes
Yeah, like
of a full hour.
Yeah, like I can't subscribe to that.
Yeah.
I also think that was the first time we seen them bleed, the Chiefs bleed.
I agree.
And I don't know how many other teams can replicate that or whatever, but that's the first time we seen them bleed, which is why Redskins fan gonna make this real simple for y'all. All you gotta do is shut up and draft Chase Young. It's really not that difficult.
Don't do it.
Like, nah. And look, Octavia's gonna tell you no because like this is the thing.
I don't want to play against them.
You have the rest of the parts of the defensive line. Follow what the Niners were bad for like 5-6 years. They spent every pick up front. Every pick up front. It helps.
We'll take them. Don't do it. Don't do it.
There she
We
go.
can add another one to ours.
There she go. But nah, it was fun, man. I'm looking forward to the offseason. Everything else should be fun. But yeah, man, like I said, for me personally, I think I got over this one. Like, when I saw it happening, I was like, this is the stuff I was talking about all year. I was like, it didn't catch up to him.
Until it
This
caught
is
him at the worst
to
time.
the worst possible
Yeah.
time. Yeah, like-
Because, like, everyone was just like, oh, man, they won. It was a close game. I'm like, you should have beat, like, honestly, in my heart of hearts, should have beat the Saints by 10.
Shouldn't have lost to the
Hey, look,
Falcons.
at all. Even with people missing, you shouldn't have lost. Kept the foot on the gas. You should have, right? Both times in Seattle. No disrespect to Russ in Seattle. You had double-digit leads twice against them. Finish him. Finish. That's the thing. And you learned it at the highest cost.
Yep.
Just to finish it.
And that, but like you said, even when you're talking about Kyle, like they may need that.
But I think that's the thing too. Is like a lot of times this year is like I think he was saying like this was like the best defense he's ever had to accompany his play call. So like it kind of like usually he's kind of like ball to the wall aggressive, where with this time it was kind of like, oh, I shouldn't be as aggressive because
my defense can support me.
Right.
I think this loss will help him do what Andy did, get out of that way of thinking, go big or go home. If you make a mistake, the defense will fix it or they won't.
Yeah.
But like
I would think if you got a shirt up defense like that, you have a little more wiggle room to be more aggressive.
But you got to remember, coming off the Falcons thing, your thought process is probably not to mess it up for the defense. You know, but like I said, what you said, that's how you should be, and I think that's how he will be going forward. Like it came at a cost. Like this is part of the process, and I think, like you said, it's like a microwave society for everything.
Of course.
I think it literally happened for the Chiefs last year.
Right.
Had they taken care of business in regulation, they wouldn't have needed to wait to get it. They wouldn't have needed the coin toss, right, to hope that they get the ball. They didn't get a chance to finish because they didn't finish in regulation, right? But you're talking about a team that just won 4 games last year, right? They quarterback's first time through 16 games in his life. Nah, they don't know how to finish.
Like finish? What's that?
But keep it a buck. Like I've been happy the whole year, but like you have to be like super blind to not realize like the Saints game, as you said, unnecessarily difficult. It's because you don't know how to finish. You had a chance in the third quarter of the Saints game after the you threw an interception, then I think Drew fumbled it. You get the ball back, you up 3. You get 7 there, man. You put pressure on them. You got 3 instead. You didn't get 7. Against Seattle, you had I think it was a 10-0 lead in the first time they played. Then the fumbles, both Seattle's first 2 touchdowns came off defense.
Yep. I
Remember that?
Yeah.
Because the offense didn't do nothing until the fourth quarter. Finish. It's
the little things.
It's the little things. And you caught it. You caught your lesson at a horrible time.
Yeah, man. They gonna feel this all off season. They like.
But you wanna know what? Like I said, I think it's good for them.
It's growing pains.
And the other thing is, I don't think people understand how young that team is.
Yeah.
I don't think anybody.
Yeah, we were talking about that earlier.
So I'm gonna run through ages real quick and we move on. Fred's 22.
Dang.
23.
It's like a baby.
Dre 57. He's a 5th round draft pick who started linebacker. When Quan got hurt, he's a rookie. He's in his early 20s. Quan is 25, 26. Emmanuel Mosley's 23. Keller Weatherspoon's like 23, 24. Bosa's a baby. Armstead and Buckner are 26 and 25 respectively. D Ford's 28. Sherm's the old head on defense. That's it. As for the kids on offense, Debo's a baby. Kendrick Bourne's 25. Raheem Mostert's 28. But he never played, so
Yeah, so he's still
it's like a 25-year-old with legs. Who's the other wide? Emmanuel's 32. He's probably gone. Cool. But all the other dudes that were hurt, they're young too. Like same thing with the Chiefs. So we'll just see how the offseason goes. But quick college basketball. GW men's. Amir Harris finished with 11 points and 10 rebounds for his first double-doubles at Colonial. A tough Richmond team was able to put away early and hold on for a 76-54 win over GW Saturday at the Robins Center. The rookie class for GW, Jameer Nelson, 11 points, 8 rebounds. Jamison Battle, he had 6 points, and he also extended his streak to 22 games of hitting a three-pointer. So that's kind of cool. In the second half, the Colonial shot 50% from the field, but that hole they got in the first half, just too much to overcome. The Colonial is going to finish their 2-game road swing outs on Wednesday when they go to St. Bonaventure. And the A-10 is tough. The Bonnies ain't never fun to play. I guarantee you that. GW women's team, they had a chance to secure their second 3-game win streak of the season, but they were unable to do so. They lost that opportunity to St. Louis. St. Louis beat them 59-44. So their 2-game win streak, it didn't get a chance to get to 3. The Bilkins, they have one of the country's strongest defenses, or stingiest rather. They after a 15-15 tie, they held GW 3-9 shooting for the next 10 minutes. I'm gonna read that back.
Wait, I was like, wait, what?
After 15-15, after the game's tied 15-15, St. Louis held GW to 3-9 shooting for the next 10 minutes. So for a whole quarter, defensively, clamps. Yeah.
Yikes.
Also, without a made field goal in the final 4 minutes of the half. Yeah. So shout out to them for the job they did defensively. We applaud that here. We
Oh,
like
yeah.
that sort of thing.
Defense always gets applause.
Always good. Sydney Zimbrata did her best to keep up with Kent in the scoring column, but Zimbrata, she was kind of bottled up until 5:14 left in the third quarter. St. Louis, the clamps, man. There's nothing else to say defensively. Like, you put the clamps on the perimeter, there's not much a team can do these days, like men's or women's, because people don't play the whole boring way against the rules and the numbers and all that stuff and all that. But GW, just like the men's, they play St. Bonaventure. Only difference is they're also going to the road. Instead of Wednesday, they're playing them on Thursday. So see how that goes. The Terps, they rolled to their 7th straight win. They put the paws on Michigan State last night in the Play for K game, 94-53.
I just looked at that. I was like,
Yeah,
Jesus
Ashley Owusu, career high 22 points, 2 of 2 from outside. She had 8 assists and 6 rebounds. Taylor Meisel, 21 points, 5 assists. I mean, look, man, we just going off the defensive thing from St. Louis. I've said this several times this year. When Maryland get locked in on the defensive end, they get out. They got some athletes get out in transition and run and score easily. All right.
They got a nice mix of dynamic young players with
some veterans.
Yeah.
Yep.
So they
definitely do.
They're gonna be an issue come tournament time.
Oh no, this you are not lying at all, sir. Up next for Maryland, they'll be going on the road once again. Hold on, I gotta tell you guys who they're playing. I'm about to tell you the wrong team. So.
Oh, that's the wrong team. It's cool.
No. We don't need to do that. That's what we don't need to do. They're going to Bloomington to take on Indiana.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so we don't need to tell you guys the wrong team. That's not good here. We try to be accurate. We don't need to do that. Come on, Octavia. Come on now. There's no reason for that at all.
I'm sorry.
All right, Jamaal Haywood in the 9-4-50 breakdown. Go to someone who's very consistent and not as petty. The breakdown this week, he's demoing a breakdown of Tim Hardaway, same between and options off the move into the options off the move. All right, breakdown of Tim Hardaway, same between and options off the move. UTEP two-step. Gotta love it. Can't wait to see this one. That's followed by our second break. After that, we're going to talk about this whole NBA trade deadline thing and, that whole Iggy Watch 2020 thing. We'll let Ray elaborate on that. You're watching the Focus TV.
Today we're going to work on the combination move coming downhill. It was famously done by Tim Hardaway. He was really known for the between crossover move, but another move that he used to use a lot was the same side between. So here. So we're going to break it down right now as far as selling the move. So going between the legs to my left right now, you have to go between hard here, but sell your body movement. So that left foot has to go far over there as well as your shoulder movement this way. So here, back to the middle, okay? So right into the shot. Now there's different options off of the move as well also. So push out, or swing again, shot, or wrap, or for later. Today we're going to work on the combination move coming downhill. It was famously done by Tim Hardaway. He was really known for the between crossover move, but another move that he used to use a lot was the same side between. So here. So we're gonna break it down right now as far as selling the move. So going between the legs to my left right now, you have to go between hard here, but sell your body movement. So that left foot has to go far over there as well as your shoulder movement this way. So here, back to the middle, okay? So right into the shot. Now there's different options off of the move as well also. So push out, or swing again, shot, or wrap, or for later.
Welcome back to the Focus TV as always. Thank you very much to Jamaal Haywood. We appreciate your consistency each and every week, sir. So it's a rare thing these days. All right, so NBA trade deadline. What day is that?
Thursday, the 6th. Yep.
Ooh, it's coming up fast.
Man,
Real
that's how you know the year is moving, right?
Yeah, man.
So we're gonna talk about some of these teams, or some of the names at least right now. D'Angelo Russell, which we heard, at the beginning of the year when the KD trade or whatever happened, and he was included, and everyone was like, "Oh, the Warriors are gonna trade him." Blah, blah, blah. All right. During the Super Bowl, Woj bomb, Clint Capella, on the move potentially.
It's like, what?
They want to shed. Man, the Rockets are a dumpster fire. All them numbers, they can't do stuff right. Iggy Watch 2020. We're gonna get in that. Little kids being funny. Andre Drummond, Kyle Kuzma is the last of the Laker kids. Derrick Rose, who a contender. And shout out to Derrick Rose for being put into that to playing himself back to the place where,
he's being talked about again.
Yep.
Because some of y'all was just foul for no reason. For a while this man was working his way back, and he's still better than some of y'all's favorite players. But
You
cool.
ain't lying about
Man.
that.
But it's cool. It's whatever. Y'all got it. All right. Some other names. Kevin Love. Okay.
That's pretty much dried up. I mean,
You said there's nothing left.
yeah,
He's
nobody's
retired.
Yeah,
Marcus Morris is another name. A very popular name right now is Robert Covington, former Sixer, 3-and-D guy, 6'9", 6'10", can do all that stuff. Yes. I mean, what y'all think, man?
So the D'Lo, let's just start at the top. D'Lo, the Warriors they're not looking to move him, but will if they can get a good enough haul. Minnesota's very interested. They're trying to work with the Hawks to get a 3-team situation going. I don't think he gets moved. They really want to see what he looks like with Steph and Clay. And to be honest, the Warriors are going to be in a good spot next year. The young guys are getting real time reps.
Foundation, key to what we've been talking about today. Foundation, people with a plan.
Then of course, them light skinned dudes gonna be back next year, and we already know how they go. So unless somebody like blows them away, I don't think D'Lo gets moved. In that same vein, Minnesota, they're really pushing for him, and I think they're trying to use Covington to kind of make up for what they might lose in getting him. I know Andre Wiggins' name has been mentioned, but they're asking for a lot for Covington, and I mean he is a hot commodity right now, so we'll see how that goes. Like I said, I don't expect anything to happen with that. Drummond, he's probably going to stay put for the simple fact his price tag. He's getting $27 million this year, and he has an option next year for $29 million, which he's most likely going to opt into.
Why are you making that?
So,
Trade him, babe.
Right.
Why are you making that?
My bad. I'm sorry. I guess I didn't know.
so yeah, that's nobody's going to take that on for him. I'm sorry.
That's why I was like, dang.
And Iggy Watch. This is
Iggy Watch 2020.
Hey, look. That exchange on Twitter, okay, so
it's getting a little spicy.
One, it was funny, right? And then two, why are we at a place where media's like help instigate these things, or like throwing
It's clickbait.
Because that's where we are. That's where we are now. But I loved it. Like I like the young guys. Like, dude, if you don't want to play, then bye. And we can't wait to play you to show you why you should have played.
Yeah, see,
look,
I
don't have a problem with it.
I like the energy, right? I truly do. I like the energy. But that whole call is above you. That got nothing to do with you. If anything, be mad at the fact that the people that made the agreement with Mr. Iguodala didn't believe y'all would be worth talking about this year to begin with. Take all your animosity and point a little bit higher than the old guy. Because if they thought you guys were going to be worth it, they wouldn't agree to the whole, you can come here and chill and not do anything.
But I'd rather them go with the guy that's probably not going to be there than talk about their front office.
Because
But
then they won't be there.
but all things considered, it's funny, it's cool. But
It's
Iggy
cool until next year. When he back home and you know where, and
He bet that better not.
yeah, I mean most
you
likely.
said that better not. Boy, you taking a whole break here. They took a whole.
He taking a gap year.
There you go.
And he was like, "Yeah, I'm gonna take a year off from school. I'll be back next year, guys."
That's what the Warriors core just did. They collectively took a gap year.
Like, I'm gonna let you guys have this shit.
A red shirt in his 14th season.
They had a really hard 5 years, right? With no breaks. It's a whole gap year, dog. Whether by injury or whatever, just a whole year to relax. And as you mentioned earlier, the whole bench is getting better. The whole bench is getting real live minutes and opportunities and yeah. But like with the Wiggins thing, I'm probably part of the school where I wouldn't mind it. And the reason I wouldn't mind it, and I'm fine being a minority here, that's the type of structure and culture that can unlock that dude's game. There's always something when you watch Wiggins, even this jump that he made this year, like
It's just,
I think there's
it's
more.
not quite.
Yeah, you feel like there's more.
Yeah.
I think that's the okay. So this is the same place that unlocked JaVale McGee's more.
Yeah, so I mean, it'd be beneficial for both sides, you know.
Yeah. And other thing is they get a wing defender. Clay doesn't have to play the three, coming back off that injury, right?
Mm-hmm.
You can let Young Boy do it. You can still do what you do, but Young Boy can do it. And the other thing is, obviously, nothing like the guy that left, but it gives you a guy that can go get a bucket in a one-on-one situation.
Right.
Clearly, again, not like remotely like the guy that left. There's levels to everything, but it gives you a guy that could go do that if needed when people want to flood the other two, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then secondly, like if you're able to do that, you still probably got a top 5, top 10 pick on the way too. In a good situation. Drew Holiday. I know a lot of people talk about Drew Holiday. I don't think that, like, if you're the Pelicans, do you move him? Because if it's me personally, I'm not.
I wouldn't.
I wouldn't either.
I mean,
like that's it's like I think the blessing that he could play with point guards, and it's not like your team's as far back as the Grizzlies. No disrespect to them, but like
right.
when you got the number 1 pick back on the court, a lot of stuff changed for you guys. You know, like you kind of went, oh, this is all the stuff we have now. So I would keep Drew personally. I don't know.
And then in terms of like what they're looking to get back for him, like the I know the Nuggets have shown some interest, but they're throwing out Gary Harris and Malik Beasley. Yeah. I wouldn't trade both of them for Drew Holiday.
And that's the thing. Like I like both of those young cats, but you got Drew Holiday, dude. Good. You got somebody who could play his versatility and what he does defensively. I'm just not giving up for any reason at all. And you have the opposite of the Iggy situation where they need a veteran wing.
Right.
He's not going to play for them. Drew's already playing for y'all, right? And so now, where y'all think Clint Capella ends up?
If they smart, right where he at, but
we know they're not that.
I think most likely if he moves, I think he'll go to Boston.
That's what I was hearing. Yeah,
and I think that'd be something perfect for them.
Especially after losing Al the year before, I feel like it'd be a good fit piece.
I also think he'd be happy because he actually goes somewhere where people try to play defense on the perimeter outside of one person. I mean, just to say it out loud.
No,
like
somebody need to say it out loud. They all need to say it out loud out there.
It is what it is. We all watch the games.
Like Boston, at least like their perimeter players compete on that end, right? And then the other thing is you're gonna get the ball in different ways, or a little bit more, or not this because Harden passes, but it's not you're out of that sit and watch me work. Offense,
right? Yeah.
You know?
And kind of gotta fit in where you can.
Yeah. So another name, Luke Kennard, got mentioned. Woj brought him up talking about Detroit. He played for Detroit, but that Phoenix was interested in him. Mm-hmm. I mean, I don't know. I like Luke Kennard a lot, but if it costs like a first round pick, would you move? Would you do that?
No.
Okay. Cool.
I mean,
I wouldn't.
Yeah, like he's a good filler guy, but see the NBA is kind of weird because literally a right draft pick can set you on course. Mm-hmm. And to give up a first rounder for a guy like Kennard is no shade to him. I mean, he's a decent player. He's been playing well this year, but yeah, I would, especially for a team like Phoenix who they're still pretty young, and for them, I would be looking for like good veterans. Mm-hmm.
Yep.
like that would be a useless move for them if you're asking me.
Understood. All right. Kyle Kuzma, does he survive this trade deadline?
No.
I was gonna say probably not.
No.
They were like, just LeBron's like, yeah, just ship out the rest of them.
I'm surprised he's still there. Because the whole thing with his trainer or whatnot.
What are they getting back for him though? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, what is it that you feel that they need?
They don't need anything. but you know, with
Like, what's the thing? You know what I'm saying? Like, what's the
a certain
thing?
player who shall be
Like that's
nameless
is,
always likes to trade.
like what are you
So,
moving that
He's
for?
the
'Cause,
GM. You didn't know?
like, my thing is like that's one of the few other players on the roster that can go get their own bucket or whatever, right? Like, so
Right.
why lose one of those where you know the other team in your building, they're deep, they come at you in waves. Why lose one of those things that's young and you barely
And
have to
they're
think
looking. Of course, they're in the Iggy sweepstakes. They've been talking about Derrick Rose as well.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, you
Derrick ain't trying to leave Piston,
yeah,
Detroit.
he said he wanted to stay there.
Yeah,
So
he say he feels like he's at home. I mean, he got his swag bag. Like, why you want to mess
and
that
I mean,
up?
I'm sure they could package something up with Kuzma for either one of those guys. But like,
But if the thing is, like, if you're Detroit, what's your attachment to Kuzma or whatever, right? You're already stuck in the front court with a couple things you can't move or whatever, right? So, what is he going? You already drafted Sekou Doumbouya, whatever. You got to wait for him a little bit.
right?
So, what you gonna wait for this guy to? You gonna put him at the 3, and then in a year or two, you got to pay him crazy money too? That's where I'm at with it. I'm just kind of confused, but I'm interested in seeing what actually happens. But I will happily say I'm one of the proud members of the if Andrew Wiggins goes to Golden State Club, it doesn't bother me, and y'all should be worried.
I agree with what you said. Like him being in that atmosphere and that coaching mindset and that culture there, like I could see him finally flourishing. Not to say that he hasn't in the past, but I could see him
He could
continue
just
trending
maximize
up
his
there.
potential there.
Yeah,
I think it's like the D'Lo thing, where like he's like the scapegoat for everything that Minnesota does bad, right?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Wiggins isn't this. Wiggins is like, and no, this, and not like this has nothing to do with Cap, but like the perception is like everything's wonderful with him, but you know we need something here because the Wiggins thing and blah blah blah. Give him a chance. Like go over there where they're gonna be like sick him.
Exactly. Yeah, you gotta unleash him at some point.
Sick him. You gonna get treated like whatever. And the other thing is the growth and being held accountable and all that. You're in Minnesota, man. Who's gonna hold you accountable there? Like it's Minnesota. Yeah. All right. So rapid fire. Okay, here we go.
let's get it.
St. John's 6. Go ahead.
No,
okay.
we're not gonna talk about the Wizards and their. I'm just.
Who are they?
St. John's 6 foot, 265-pound running back Antoine Littleton, aka Little Bus, committed to Maryland today, becoming the second commit of the day and the 7th in the 2021 class. Littleton committed to Maryland over offers from Cincinnati, Kansas, Louisville, Syracuse, Tennessee, and South Carolina, amongst others. I just went up there and connected with the coaches, Littleton told 247 Sports. Just got a chance to talk with Coach Loxley, my position coach Elijah Brooks. Brooks ran point in Littleton's recruitment as the Turks will bring the 3-star prospect in at running back. If y'all seen any clips of this kid, Little Bus thing is generous. That's a whole
Okay, Little Bus.
I don't know if he's Derrick Henry, like fast with it. That's a whole. I'm the juggernaut, and you don't want this folk. How he's running through them little kids, I felt bad for all of them. Cause like if I was one of them little kids, I would have went to the coach like I would just looked at him like.
So what I'm supposed to do?
That reminded me of this. It was this thing on YouTube. I don't know if you remember it. It was a dude, Lionel Boyce. It's like clearly a grown man, but it says like he's 10 years old playing football, and he's like just demolishing
Big
these
dude with
kids.
the little shoulder pads.
Yeah. That's what it reminded me of.
But what do y'all think about that? Like we talked about the year Maryland had or whatever, right? Feel like that type of like ground and pound like is going a year 2 for Loxley.
Mm-hmm.
What do y'all think about that type of physicality? Like it's his 265-pound running back.
That's huge. First of all, like, and I think it just goes back to what we talked about with Maryland last year is that culture. You know, for him to come out and say that, you know, I had all these offers from all these other great schools, but I connected with the coaching staff. And to me, that speaks volumes because that's the one thing that we heard consistently when we went to the games last year is how they're trying to build a culture. They're trying to let these players know, like, we're going to get you to the right places. And like we always talk about being in a microwave society, a lot of people think that's supposed to happen overnight. But this is the beginning, and this is like his first, full recruiting season and being able to get players in. So I think it's a great win for them, and hopefully it works out. Little bus. I mean, if that's supposed to be
I'm gonna pull up the clips. Google it.
Just Google little bus.
Like literally Google little bus in Maryland. Maryland commit. Watch. I guarantee it's gonna be something crazy.
I think it's good for them. Like it's a huge win for the program. I think I want them to do well next year, just based on the trials and tribulations they went through this year. Like they trotted an intramural team out there. If we're keeping it real, like with all the injuries
in conference play, that is what it appeared to be. Yes.
Yeah. So hopefully, with Loxley's first year getting his guys in, he can start to put things in the right direction.
That's the biggest part. Anytime you take something over, it takes usually 3 years before you can really judge it, because that's when you at least got your guys in the building,
right. Yeah.
Or at least one level of your guys has been there already. You kind of set the foundation, right? Andre Iguodala, we talked about this a little bit, will sit out the season if not traded to an agreed upon team. The guy with 3 rings, a Finals MVP trophy at home, will likely get traded before Thursday. He's away from the Grizzlies all season, and they're exceeding expectations even without him. Thank you very much. An agreed upon arrangement while Memphis looked for a trade partner. We'll talk about this a little bit, talk about what Ja and Dylan Brooks on social media, but just you guys' thoughts on this, just you guys' thoughts on this whole situation, period.
There's really just 2 teams in line. The Lakers want him because they need another perimeter. Well, they don't need him, but they want another perimeter defender.
Nah, they need that. They don't have none of them.
The Clippers want him to keep him away from the Lakers. So
that's a good reason.
I mean, there's also less stress over there on the LA that plays defense. You just come off the bench and other people are doing it. You ain't gotta be the only one out there.
Yeah, when you go down the hall, get a little hectic around there.
One side of that hole, you gonna be out there like PJ Tucker. Why don't y'all do something? I'm tired of this. I just think it's one of those things where it's kind of a bizarre situation or whatever. Memphis, just be aware of what you're doing, man. Like, this is so completely unnecessary, right? Because you were just nosy and chose to go get him, so one of the LA teams didn't get him. And now you're in a situation that you're in right now. Your young pups are exceeding expectations. They probably, they're a year ahead of schedule. Mm-hmm. And very interesting. Ben Simmons calls Philadelphia soft after an embarrassing road loss. They got a pause put on them by the Miami Heat. It was like 136 to 105, something like that.
Jeez.
And all the Sixers big guns did play, for the record.
Okay.
They was there. They were there. Jimmy Butler went off for a season-high 38, and he sat out the fourth. The Heat scored a franchise record 81 points in the second half. Y'all heard what I said? 81 points in the second half. And I'm sorry, I was wrong about the score, too. They crushed the 76ers 136 to 107.
Oh, you gave him 2 points. Cool.
Philadelphia, however, has some issues. The Sixers are now 22-2 at home. They're just 9-18 on the road, including having dropped 10 of 12.
Yikes.
That led a frustrated Ben Simmons to call Philadelphia soft after the loss. Quote, "We were soft. Don't get bullied, fight over screens, get through screens. You got to knock somebody, knock them over. You got to hit somebody in the face, knock them down, make sure they don't score, hit him in the face," end quote.
Did he do any of that?
That was my next question.
Like,
I got one more part. Mike Scott agreed with Simmons when asked what needed to change. He put it simply, not be soft. So what you about to say? Simmons probably one of the few guys over there that I feel like competes defensively. Him and Josh Richardson. I think Josh Richardson's out. But after that.
But I mean, like, this is my thing with them. Like, Embiid gives you sound bites. Mm-hmm. I guess that's the thing now, to call out your team publicly after you play bad. But when are you going to do something about it on the court? Like, Philly was supposed to be the next team, and they fell short last year. They're severely underachieving this year. So when you going to look in the mirror and do something about it? Like, you got to... Ben Simmons is a main part of their issue. Like, dude, you're an NBA point guard and you don't shoot jumpers. and it's going to catch up with them in the playoffs just like it did last year. So
yeah, but I mean, I agree too. Like when you say like, is this a new thing where everybody calls out teammates after the game publicly? Like, when are y'all gonna take it personal enough to keep the media out of it? Because all it's gonna do is start a media circus,
right,
and have them talking about things, and then it's gonna turn into locker room issues, and this person said that, and this, because ego is a thing, and a lot of, if not all, NBA players have an ego. So I mean, while I feel like depending on his reasoning for saying it could kind of make me feel like, okay, I can see where he's coming from, but I feel like I personally always feel like that's something you handle in-house. Like you could say like, we play bad, we need to do this better, we need to get this together, blah blah blah, whatever it is. But to say, we gotta play like we soft, like that's kind of like that's an ego shot to a lot of guys, and like, all right, bruh, see how soft we is, we get to practice or something. But I mean, at the end of the day, if that's how, I always respect the same thing though. Like I respect when players say how they really feel. If that's how he really felt, I respect that. But I just always feel like stuff like that needs to stay in house. Just y'all do these interviews after the game because you have to do these interviews after the game. You don't have to say all these things. Like, and I think that's kind of where I kind of get like lost. Like, you're adding fuel to the fire. Like, have like what they always do. They have these player only meetings. Like, have a player only meeting. Talk it out, figure something out, or you go out there and you lead by example at the end of the day. So, I would be interested to see how he played the next game. You know what I mean? Like, are you practicing what you preach, or is this? Because I feel like that comments like this always can stir up emotions and feelings when it comes to like somebody calling somebody else out when you have the same opportunity to do what you're trying to preach to make sure everybody else is doing. Like, it needs to be across the board. And depending on exactly how he said it, because like I said, I personally haven't heard the quote or read the quote. Like, I hope he included himself in this.
He said where?
Okay.
No, he said. I'm sorry. He said where.
Okay. I mean, to be like, I included.
No. He said we, he said we were soft. No,
okay.
He definitely said we. My biggest thing is like, I don't even care about all that. Philly personally, going to Cardell last night, they got a decision to make, man. Like,
yeah.
Look, just to be completely honest, all
because
this
we
stuff
trusted the process.
And look, all the stuff you're going through, you have to move. You know who, and it is what it is, man. And the sooner you do it, the better it'll be for you. It is what it is. There's no way to get around this.
Are they gonna do it?
They can't play together. They need the same space to operate. And
ooh, that's a good story right there.
One's always on the court, and one's never there. One's body's always not working.
Somebody got to call the baby ugly, man.
So look, they got some things to go through. I'm sure that's some of the frustration as well.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't make sense that every time somebody's missing, they look like a whole different team. So, and that's not to say that said person's a bad player. It just don't fit here.
Yeah, because we talk about that a lot. Like,
it's just a fit.
Player fit is a big thing in NBA, NFL, any type of professional sport. Like, you can be the best player in the world, but if it don't fit with the scheme that is that team and the other players that are around, it's never going to work. And like you said, like, somebody might have to bite the bullet and do it, but I don't know if they would really do it.
Hey, man, you got to, because at some point you're just wasting time.
And money.
You're wasting time and money, right?
And money, because they like I said, they didn't trust the process.
Look, it got it to where you at. And right now, part of your process is they figuring life out in Orlando. Like, they fine. You on the other hand,
it's not lost upon me that Jimmy went at them like that neither.
Oh yeah.
So yeah.
Smack at,
he was like, "Oh, really? Let me show you something."
The other thing is, like, Bam had. I'm gonna leave that alone too. Like, man, look, Bam had a great game. Bam owned the paint on both ends. Bam did what Bam needed to do. Bam's team won by quite a bit. Bam's team continued to have a good night. Bam's teammate had 38 points.
Hey man, I think
Bam's team hit the glass.
To be honest, all these issues started with their offseason.
Hey, look, man, it's interesting how that works. But yeah, I'm interested to see, like, every once about the trade deadline, who gets traded, who doesn't get traded.
Especially big names. That's what I always look like. Is somebody big gonna
And
move?
specifically-
How big? Where they gonna go? What's gonna happen? Because like we always talk about, like one big move can change the market on both sides. I don't think anybody huge is gonna move, of course, in this trade deadline.
I mean, we'll see.
But
I think it's one of those things where the place that we're at right now, nobody knows.
yeah,
and something unexpected always happens.
yep. That's why I love this time.
And you gotta think how people are reacting, because the fact that the light skins are out right now, I think there might be a little bit more
Urgency.
Thank you, for some of the other teams in the West. Was like,
This is our time. This is
we
our
can
open
make a run
window.
right now, because right now it's just the LA teams and us. We got a chance, right?
Right, yeah.
Because when you been here,
And it's gonna be a long
and
way.
if you're one of the East teams, you're like, right now it's just the Bucks. We got to, you know what I'm saying? Because when him get back next year,
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Nobody wants to talk about
So-
that.
Yeah.
That's it. Part of the whole, again, I'm counting all members of the Warriors in the last 5 years. Those there, those gone. This gap year, they all will return. That's all I'm simply saying. So I think that
makes
urgency,
sense. Yeah.
because things drastically change although, we're literally in a season right now where we're arguably missing the at least three of the top 5 shooters in the NBA are out.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
100% yes. So like you
So-
said, that makes so much sense. Like there, and it kind of makes you think about, like, is that why the Rockets are trying to move? Like Capella, do they feel like this
I
is
think-
their window?
I mean,
like,
I just think they found out that nothing works. Like, they messed up. They messed up, and I think they're trying to go back and fix it, and it's
In a
broken.
hurry?
No, it's just broken.
they try to fix it in a
I
hurry.
think they're going to end up wasting the rest of dude's prime. Harden's, right?
But that's a whole nother show.
No, it is.
We can talk about that.
But like, I feel like I said, going back which is why I'm at peace. Right, circling back to the Super Bowl, the Rockets don't have a plan.
they never have a plan.
You know what I'm saying? And that's
They haven't
the
had a
thing.
plan these last 3
They
years.
switch things, but it never feels like. I feel like when you watch teams move the way that they move, you have a sense that sometimes, again, when it's a trusted organization, or the way that they do it, or you see the foundation in place, there's thought behind the move. You're like, all right, that makes sense. That fits. That could work. These are the reasons why. When people just make moves erratically, sometimes you're like, nah, what are you doing?
They're just trying
Doesn't make any
anything.
sense at all. So that's one of those things. But we're going to see. We want to thank you guys for tuning in. As always, get over to finestback.com, mymononsports.com, and we will see you guys next week, same time, same place, right here, The Focus TV.